Halftime. We'd have to be because that's
And good evening and welcome to the Jackson Christian Football Recap Show. Coach Brian Bullard and Coach Darby Palmer here along with Coach Joe Holloway as we bring you the best in what's happening at Jackson Christian, not only in football but in all of our sports. And coaches, it was a busy week last week. We had a team much bigger than us come in here, and we have held serve again against the AA school.
Yes, sir. And getting off to a good start this year. Our first drive was a little rocky on both sides of the ball, but we were able to settle in and play a really good football game.
Well, they brought in a quarterback, Sutton, now. Young man is poised for his age and grade, and he's quicker than a hiccup, and they didn't have a bad tailback either.
Absolutely. They had a really good run game, and we knew that was going to be an issue going into the game, and that's one of their, their key points in us to stopping was their quarterback and running game, and they did a really good job early on getting both those guys going.
Now, would you say that we played disciplined football, and my definition of discipline is doing what you have to do when you have to do it, and I think we did that in the game.
If we use your definition, then yes, we did. Towards the end of the game, yes, sir, we were able to do our jobs and do it well and get a few key stops and a few key turnovers. So a lot of guys made some big plays for us, and we were able to come out with a win.
Oh, absolutely. Coach, now I saw Coach, and he not only was coaching his heart out, but he's best cheerleader out there now.
that was an emotional game, and there was a lot of turns, and anytime that we can turn them over. Take the ball away. We want to show excitement for those guys and how hard they worked. And you're right, Coach. That quarterback was tough. They had some speed. But our guys, we kind of, similar to North Point, we stepped up when we had to. Did we do everything exactly right? No. When we watch film, were we a little bit frustrated with the way the defense played at times? Assignment-wise, yes. Not effort. Those guys played their hearts out. But just stuff that we can clean up, and that's stuff we're working on this week in practice.
Well, those big old linemen that you coach, they kind of got after it. They got a little excited there, and we had some big hits. And, guys, it's overrated stats are. Somebody once said there are lies, there are lies, and we'll leave some of the words out. And then there's statistics. You know what we had? We had more points at the end of the contest. That's the most important.
Absolutely, and early on in the year, we want to play these games early that give us a good test because everyone across the state is trying to fine-tune what they do. And, of course, we have things on all three phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, that we need to fine-tune, and that's what this week of practice is for, trying to fine-tune, iron out the details, and then get ready to go for this week.
Well, we had some great individual performances. We had some great team performances, and we're going to talk to a couple of the individuals, Elijah DeMoss and Eli Craig, that had great football game. Cam Boyd had another good one. Gage Boykin had another good one. But, those old young men in the internal line never get much credit. But I thought they probably graded out better this week than they did the first week with their blocking.
Absolutely. Our offensive line played extremely well as a unit, as a collective whole. In our first two games, we're averaging almost 8 yards a carry on one of our main runs, and we're super excited about those guys in that unit and how they're clicking right now.
And we've got a couple of youngsters we need to talk about, and that didn't play football. We've got one that plays football and one that plays soccer. Coach, they're up for Jackson Sun Award, and we need to get out there and vote for them because I believe you can vote every hour. You have to wait an hour in between votes.
That's right. And we have some notes here about our soccer team going over to Chattanooga, I believe, and winning their second consecutive tournament over there. And Gibson Boykin, Gage's sister, great soccer players, up for Jackson Sun Player of the Week. And then also Cam Boyd with his performance is up for that honor as well. And we want to go out and support those athletes, vote for them. And it's awesome to have a football guy, but it's also awesome to see the soccer girls getting some recognition, and Gibson being up for that award is a good honor for her.
Well, and that soccer team must have done well. That's a prestigious tournament. I'm used to it, the Smoky Mountain Cup. Second one, isn't it?
Yeah, the second consecutive time that they've won that, and they go to that. I believe they go to it every year, and they compete well. It's a good tournament and a good test for our girls.
Now, the task at hand, though, and we're going to tell you about some of these other young men. Talk about Cam Boyd, 160 yards with, and that moved him into what, fourth place?
Fourth.
He's gaining, and then we had some outstanding run. Elijah, and my previous recon on him, he's played quarterback in his younger days a whole lot, and the running back thing, and he gets better every time he runs the football.
Absolutely. He's a really good athlete for us, does a lot of things well, plays free safety for us as well. And he's coming into the running back role, and he's doing a great job with it.
Well, let's tease the folks a little bit, and we'll talk more about them a little later. Here we go. The irresistible force and the immovable object meet as two 2-0 teams will meet this Friday night on Labor Day weekend. Unfortunately, we get to travel to a city that I lived in for a while, Columbia Academy, who's been a state power, and we've got to deal with them at their home field, and they're very tough up there, and they beat a good Waverly team that's all offense, even though they play better defense now. When Coach McConnell was there, he's at a different place. They beat a good football team.
Yes, sir, and they do a lot of things really well. They're going to be a spread team, up-tempo. They have a really good running back that we're going to need to stop. But also defensively, they play with a lot of effort. They have a lot of good run fits, and there's going to be two really good football teams battling this Friday.
And their head coach is new to their school. As a matter of fact, it's his first year there, Seth Anderson. And like you said, he's got the enthusiasm like you and your whole staff do. But we're going to come out and we're going to run our version of the up-tempo offense, and we're going to move the football too.
Hey, absolutely, absolutely. And we want to set our tone early on how we do things and put our culture on display again.
And I'm going to pick on Coach for a minute. Eric Cohue's record, and everybody loves Eric. Coach is getting closer. And we've got 1 minute here we'll tell you about, and then we'll take a segment. And we've got a guest coming up that I think you're going to really like, Blake Taylor. Now, Blake was associated with a couple of championship teams. I think he was on the football team in 2006, and I know he was on the baseball team in 2008 when they were champions. And he will give you some good insights into this program. But what we're going to do, we're going to take our first time out. We're at Hub City Deli and all of those sandwiches. And this time, I'm still looking for the Piggy Sue to be the featured sandwich. But they've got a lot of other great things like the Hub City Burger, the Cuban sandwich. And if you hadn't tried that, the only difference is I get them to put regular mustard on the Cuban. Other than that, that's the only change I make in it. They will make the changes for you. There's half sandwich options. There's wraps. There's salads. And I'm going to tell you what, your youngster got busy over here. He was eating away a few minutes ago.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Let's take that first time out, and when we come back, we will have Coach Bull and Coach call him Blake. I like that. I just called him Coach Taylor. We'll have Blake Taylor on here.
Hub City Deli is honored to sponsor Jackson Christian Athletics. Gourmet chef Peter Thomas invites you in for a totally new experience in craft sandwiches, wraps, and salads. The homemade hoagies are baked fresh. A big favorite is Pete's Brisket Hoagie with brisket, smoked Texas style. The Hub City Burger is a Jackson favorite. The salads are always fresh and unique. Hub City Deli is open for breakfast as well. Located on Pleasant Plains Extended, just down the road from Jackson Christian.
Back for the break, or back from the break here at Hub City Deli. It is the Jackson Christian Football Recap Show. Coach Brian Bullard, and now I'm starting to sound like Harry Johnson. You don't know Harry Johnson, but there used to be a sporting goods store named Johnson's Sporting Goods. And Coach Harry, he coached actually with Bear Bryant at one time.
Really?
And he coached here in Jackson, but he opened Johnson's up along with his brother Fred, and he called us Coach.
Okay.
Coach Bullard. But anyway.
I think I've heard Greg Armour talk about Johnson's Sporting Goods.
Oh, it was a legendary place. Every Saturday morning they would have all the coaches come in and talk on the radio, and the original coaches show was in that town. Dick Palmer started that years ago. and he's one of the voices up at the MTSU now. But we're here to talk about Jackson Christian. You've heard about our soccer team. Volleyball team, I think, is in action today in a JV game. We're playing JV this year. Now, we've got a great guest. This man, I'm going to see his championship rings and stuff.
No, I didn't bring him. I didn't bring him. I didn't wear him.
He's got some, and he is a fine athlete from, some people call it the golden age at Jackson Christian School, with the football team winning in 2006 and the baseball team winning one of their 2 championships in 2008. Blake, glad to have you with us.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Coach, I'm going to pass the ball to you for a minute.
Yes, sir. Just a little bit more about Blake, if people are just joining us. Class of 2008, and he was, we mentioned this earlier, but a member of the 2006 football and 2008 baseball state championship. So he's a guy that has the winning pedigree and knows what this program is about. And we wanted to add this segment in this year. Every couple of weeks, mix in an alumni from the area that we can get in and talk to hear their perspective of the program. And hopefully we got some players now listening to this show that can get some insight. Blake, I want to start with this. I want to start with what is your favorite JCS football memory?
Aside from winning that state championship, of course, you can't really top that feeling, and it's difficult to explain. If you haven't won one, you've achieved that goal, and you get to celebrate that with your teammates and brothers that you did all the hard work with. Outside of that, though, favorite memory at JCS, I made a lot of good friends, especially through sports and athletics. A lot of those guys, we still talk constantly, group messages, just checking in with one another. So I would say probably bus rides were always a good memory. We always had some good camaraderie on those rides, on away games, and
Let me ask you this: did you ride the bus back?
Yes.
See, that's what's
we
changed.
rode buses back.
That's what
especially
changed.
that state championship year. There was a lot of bus rides back to the field house to pick up your car.
You miss out if you don't ride the bus back.
We're starting to pick back up. We've kind of gone through that, but we've got more guys riding back home on the bus this year, and I can second that, man. Those were really
Well, I
good
know
times.
of some schools that have gone back to you have to ride the bus back to the home facility, and they do. Blake, I got to jump in for a minute. Couple of guys, and there's too many for him to name all of them, but a couple of guys on that football team that stick out in your memory that you played football with.
Ooh, the 06 team, we've got, you had Clay Fowler at quarterback, you had Rashad Rayner, wide receiver. Offensively, there was Patrick Taggart. We had Tanner Perkins on the defensive side of the ball. Trey Mangrum, linebacker. Had Ethan Cooper. There was David Payne, Greg Wood. Lots of people contributed. Andrew, he was a big help for us. I mean, that whole team was getting after it. A lot of those guys still talk to till this day. So.
Well, I got to ask one more question. Now, you mentioned David Mangrum, right? I got the
Trey
name.
Mangrum.
Trey Mangrum,
yes.
He had
and
a
David
sister
Payne.
that played basketball and a couple Chantel.
Yes, Chantel.
She was one of the
Athlete.
outstanding
Yes.
athletes at this school.
Yes.
Blake, along those lines, tell me and tell the folks listening about a mentor at JCS, somebody that coach or teacher, and preferably a coach that really stuck out to you, that helped you become successful today, a great husband and father and businessman.
Yep. I'm going to go with two of them. We had Coach Chuck Cooper and Coach Brian Stewart. Both of those men helped us understand that the sport itself, as that was the present goal, that it was going to help us understand in life when times get hard in a marriage and, life gets thrown at you, you can't just lay down. You got to always get back up. So both of those coaches were a big influence on me. Still talk to both of them as well, actually. So they're in our group messages. So it's nice.
So I got this for you, too. If you were able to stand in front of our current players, and hopefully they'll see this, what would you say? What would you say to those guys about football, about holding on to memories? What would you tell those guys?
First of all, I would tell them buy in. Your coaches aren't just throwing stuff at you just to throw it at you. They know what they're doing. Believe in them. Keep that in. In-house. You got a lot of chatter outside the locker room, but focus in on what the coach are telling you and buy in. And in those moments, just take a few seconds before every game just to look in the crowd. Take in that moment, especially for seniors. Most of you will not play this sport again. I did not pick up a football after I graduated, so big time moments that Coach Stewart actually said just before you start the game, take that 10 to 15 seconds really to take in that moment. So
absolutely. Blake, as we wrap up, tell us about your family. Tell us about your kid and what's going on with you now.
I'm married to a JCS alumni. Her name's Peyton. We have a son, Brooks, and he is a Little Eagle down at the ELV. He's about 16 months old, so that was exciting to get to take him back and drop him off. It was kind of odd, a moment that I got to experience something my parents did, drop me off at my first day of school. So she's a dental hygienist over at Elite Dental Care, and I'm a trust officer at Commercial Bank here in town. So that's a little bit about us.
Man, Blake, awesome. I've known this guy for a long time. We played college baseball together, and as I thought about guys, I knew this was one of the guys that people would want to hear from. And he's still local and still supports. And I'm excited for Brooks to come up and play some ball here in the future. Blake, man, we appreciate you. Is there anything else you'd like to say before you sign off here?
I'll give Brian Bullard his flowers. I can personally vouch for him. I was a freshman when I got to Freed, and Brian took me in, and it's not a front. That's Brian Bullard. That's who he is at his core. Your kids are in good hands out there. So,
Blake, awesome, man. Love you, proud of you, and thanks for coming on tonight.
Absolutely.
Blake, we want you to drop by when you're at a home game, drop by the press box and say a few words to us, and we'd love you to come back or be on another show with us. Folks, this is the kind of product that Jackson Christian turns out as an academic and educational institution besides the great athletics that we have. He's a trust officer with a bank, and Jackson Christian is proud of you, and we are too, Blake.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. We'll take that time out here at Hub City Deli. Be back with more. Coach Phillips on the way.
Hub City Deli is honored to sponsor Jackson Christian Athletics. Gourmet chef Peter Thomas invites you in for a totally new experience in craft sandwiches, wraps, and salads. The homemade hoagies are baked fresh. A big favorite is Pete's Brisket Hoagie with brisket, smoked Texas style. The Hub City Burger is a Jackson favorite. The salads are always fresh and unique. Hub City Deli is open for breakfast as well. Located on Pleasant Plains Extended, just down the road from Jackson Christian.
We are back here at Hub City Deli. As you can see, everything is hustling, including Hub City Deli. Coach Rob Phillips has stepped in here, and Rob's going to talk to us about the game a little bit, but we had some defensive highlights, and we don't have a tape this week, but we had some defensive highlights, and, of course, Cam Boyd, does he qualify as the human highlight film now? And we had some other kids. Elijah DeMoss, man, he gets better every week. And we just turned over to you and Coach Bullard and let y'all talk about some outstanding events in that game after a tough start.
Coach Phillips, thanks for being on with us tonight. First off, talk about your defense and what you felt like we did well, and then kind of get into something that we're working on this week here in practice.
So one thing that I feel like we did really well, we gave great effort. You mentioned having some takeaways, and all three of those takeaways, when we went back and watched film, was on the plus side. And when I think one of them was a third down, maybe one of them occurred right after a big first down that they had, and then another one was a fourth down stop, and I think that was in the red zone. And then one of the big things that we focused on in film was seeing on that fumble late in the game, there were nine of our guys could have recovered that fumble because they were hustling to the ball, the pursuit, and so the effort was there. This week in practice, we have kind of gone back and we're focusing on the basics. We created some gaps that we didn't need to create. We played, our linebacker depth was a little too shallow, and so we're really focusing on, like Coach P always talks about, owning our 111th, doing our job, and so we're really getting back to the basics at each position.
Coach, let's go back to that angle thing. I think sometimes some of our fans don't realize if you're a step too far up as a linebacker, it cuts off your pursuit angle, or you can't scrape into the hole properly. Because you want to scrape in there properly, don't bump off the posterior of your defensive lineman that's trying to fill a gap. I think Eli and Wyatt, because those are the two Friday night who are in the middle,
And of course with Kai out, Kai's really good at it as well. And I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know if I don't know if it was just they weren't paying attention. But for some reason they creeped up, a yard or two, and all of a sudden now, like you just said, they couldn't scrape across the top. But what was pretty neat is at halftime we made that adjustment and saw them bump back, a little bit, and they were able to start scraping across and filling those holes.
Coach, don't you think we did a great job on the running back? He was almost no factor. He was a little factor. Sutton had to give you Maylock City or Pepto-Bismol City their quarterback.
Oh, anytime you have a scrambling quarterback, that's tough. But, he was probably, I'd say in my 3 years of doing this, he may be the fastest we faced. And I think even before the game, we didn't know what to expect because he's just a sophomore. And I know after the game we were like, man, that guy's good, and he's going to be really good.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Our defense fit my definition of discipline, and I got it from another coach. But we did what we had to do when we had to do it, especially late. I'm kind of proud of Blake Rowland coming up with that football, but I know he would give his teammates credit for that football being there where he could pick it up.
Oh, absolutely. I did tell Blake, I said, look, hey, it's 4th down, and I know we love jumping on the football, but, man, scoop that thing and score it next time.
Scoop and score. All right. Coach Bullard, his coach has got information. I can tell. He's lit up like a Christmas tree over here.
Hey, Coach Phillips, tell us about this week and what challenges that Columbia Academy presents for our defense.
Well, as far as, last week, we kept looking at the quarterback knowing he was going to scramble. This week, they really live giving the ball to their running back. And we saw him last year, and, he's quick. He's a great athlete.
Has he gotten a step quicker? He looks it on film a step quicker.
And, when you play a lot of games and you see those holes open up over a season, you get better and better. Look at what Cam has done the last couple years, just from his sophomore to senior year, getting better. This guy's good. They have a big athletic quarterback again. They lose the receiving threat on the outside, but I'm sure they've got an athlete ready to step in and fill that. And their offensive linemen, it's kind of like ours. They're on the bit smaller side, but they quick and they climb the linebackers really well.
Yeah, they're looking for angles, and they've got a good team back. They got some key people back. I know they lost some. They got a new coach, so we really don't have a whole lot of film other than the last 2 games on their offense.
Yeah, and, I think he was the defensive coordinator last year, and I think they've had, some of their same staff come back. So looking at film, I think they're going to do a few of the same things, but, being a new head coach, it's his first game. He's from there. I'm sure they're going to be excited, and, they probably got a couple of tricks up their sleeve for us.
I know every year is different. Every team's different. Tell me what you really your favorite thing about this year's defense. What do those guys as a unit bring that makes you really proud of them?
Probably how hard they work. After Friday night, we kind of saw some things that we needed to work on, and I know you and I even talked about this on Sunday at our meeting, and we said, man, we've got to talk to them. And yesterday in our Monday meeting, we talked to those guys, and the maturity that they had to say, yeah, you're right, I can be better, and I can get better at this. And I think we had today, after that meeting, we had one of our better defensive practices that we've had all year. So just the way that they respond, the way that, how hard they work. I said this the last time I was on here. It is so much fun to go to practice.
Absolutely, and I think too, and we talk about this all the time, is we have a lot of expectations for these guys. We're high on them. Coach Phillips, how do you want to finish? What do you want to talk about going into next week? Give the people watching something to look forward to at Columbia Academy.
I would just say, last week there were some running lanes open, and I think this week our focus as a defense is to kind of close those running lanes, especially when you're facing a really good running back like this. And I think the effort will be there. It will be, if we can do our job, each of us can do our job and close those gaps. Our main focus is to do that and kind of just, like we've got written on our board, do what we do and be really good at it.
That is Coach Rob Phillips, who's not only a great football coach, he's not going to coach softball. I have to pick at him a little bit about that because he's really good at what he does, and he and Jennifer Wheeler made a great team. But he will be back most weeks with us to talk. He's a great guy. Get a chance away from a football game. Don't bother him during football game, but talk to him, and you'll learn a lot of football. I enjoy talking to him, and his football terms and language is wonderful. We've got to take another time out at Hub City Deli because I may have to go over there and get a barbecue beef brisket in between. Bet you I can devour it in the time we've got in between guests. And when we come back, we're actually going to talk to some of our young men that played such an outstanding football game. We'll be back here at Hub City Deli after this.
Hub City Deli is honored to sponsor Jackson Christian Athletics. Gourmet chef Peter Thomas invites you in for a totally new experience in craft sandwiches, wraps, and salads. The homemade hoagies are baked fresh. A big favorite is Pete's brisket hoagie with brisket, smoked Texas style. The Hub City Burger is a Jackson favorite. The salads are always fresh and unique. Hub City Deli is open for breakfast as well. Located on Pleasant Plains Extended, just down the road from Jackson Christian.
And we are back at Hub City Deli with the Jackson Christian Football Recap Show. Brian Bullard, Coach Joe Holloway, and stepping in is a young man that I know a little bit about his background. If we had to play him at quarterback, he could do it because he's been one. But I'm going to tell you what, he's getting a name for himself, and some of these college coaches are starting to look at him because he's proved that he is a great runner. He can either run you and beat you by speed, or he can cow tromp you when he carries the football, and that is the one and only Elijah DeMoss, who plays a little defense too. Well, I shouldn't say a little defense. He plays a lot of defense, doesn't he, Coach?
That's right. A lot. Elijah does a lot for us, and running back for us, but also is the back end of our defense. And just a little bit about Elijah's night: 5 carries, 66 yards, and 1 touchdown. And that touchdown run was a highlight play. And,
yes.
And the will and the desire to finish that run off and to watch those guys run with him. I wish we had it tonight on our tape, but man, what a moment for him. He's been waiting to kind of bust out, and he had that opportunity, and he wasn't going to be denied on that.
Tell us about the runs. I mean, it wasn't just that one run. You had several outstanding, and like I said, my phrase for running over somebody, this young man, you can cow tromp them or you can finesse them, put the old TikTok move on them like, Cam does, and I think you've got the jump step too, don't you?
Yes, sir. I really do think it's a team effort, and it takes everybody, for a play to work. I give a lot of credit to the line, on runs. That Aggie, it was perfect. I mean, the line was wide open, and I got hit, but I managed to stay up and make a play. And the other runs, I mean, that's just the team playing a team game efficiently.
Oh, absolutely. Coach Irv helped you with your running game. He was a good running back, but between the weight room that he works with you with, has he given you any tips about being a running back? Because at Lambeth, he was a great one.
Yes, sir. He's he's really helped me a lot. Like I didn't know a lot about running back whenever I first started playing, but he's always been there, giving me side tips, hold the ball, how to hold the ball, hit the hole, strike it, how to lower my shoulder, teach me the proper way to cut. So I give a lot of credit to Coach Irv, and without him, I don't know.
Elijah, I know Coach Bullard's got some questions. Let me ask you just a couple, and then I'm going to pass the ball back to him. You like playing, and you like playing time. Does it matter as long as you get plenty of playing time which position you play?
I mean, no, sir. It's a team game, and whatever I can do to help the team, I feel like that's where I fit in. That's where I get my playing time.
Absolutely. The folks, a couple of them want to know, how long have you been at Jackson Christian?
I recently just moved, so I started. My first day was actually when everyone else started.
Okay.
So.
What teacher kind of jumps out at you right now? And it's early in the school year, but what class maybe you like their class?
Well, I like my English class with Coach Reichert. He's a football coach,
Yep.
but he really knows how to, get to the point, and he teaches very well, and I respect that. I respect all of my teachers,
You don't draw any X's and O's in there. Run in the A gap, run in the B gap, or something like. Y'all ever do that? Maybe between class.
Well, when class time is class time.
Yeah.
When it's class time, it's class time. So we get our work done, make sure, stay on task. He does a very great job, and, I want to maintain good grades.
Absolutely.
So.
This young man is sharp now because that's
Absolutely.
one of those questions that you can get.
You're trying to trap him there,
yeah.
Coach. He didn't fall.
He didn't fall for it. What other sport do you play besides football?
I play basketball and I run track.
Wow, I'm impressed. This young man, and, of course, he's got good coaches and all that and running the track. 100 meters, 200 meters?
100, 200, maybe
Okay.
4x1.
Man, a man after my heart running track. Coach?
Elijah, I know what I felt after you got in the end zone on Friday, and I had chills. Tell people watching what kind of emotions. You talked about the run. You talked about your linemen, the guys blocking for you. What kind of emotions were you feeling when you were running off the field?
I felt loved. I felt like everyone came together to celebrate it. Everyone was a part of that touchdown. It wasn't just me making a play. And I feel like us as a team, we have a very strong team, and I feel like I can trust them. So
Absolutely.
I felt loved and
the stadium was electric at that moment, and we were proud of you, Elijah. Tell us, you're learning and you're growing on defense at the safety position. Tell us what you like about playing that position and what you can bring on that side of the ball as well.
I like being able to visualize the field, really step back and see everything, see all the moving parts, and make a play where it's needed. Like running back coming up and make the tackle. They throw in a deep ball and go in and try to make a play on the ball. So,
absolutely.
Got to ask you about Sutton. He had more moves than a hula girl, the quarterback for St. George's last week, but you put your bonnet on him a couple of times. What did you focus on to tackle him?
really, whenever I went to tackle him, it was always somebody else there.
Yeah.
So I feel like I could trust my brother, and we can both make the tackle together. So
How important is the trust of your brother?
it's very important. I feel like a good team needs that brotherhood and that bond, and here at Jackson Christian we have that.
Coach?
Absolutely, and man, this he's saying all the right things, and giving credit to his teammates. So, Elijah, what is something that you picked up maybe from this coaching staff or a teacher, something that you picked up in the building that you lean on every day when you come to school, when you come to football practice?
Really, just to pick each other up, to always encourage and help somebody up. If somebody's not having a bad day, help their day be better.
That's right.
So always encouraging.
If he wasn't playing basketball, I'd say we'd get him up here and let him talk a little bit on radio.
He's doing a great job, but I had no doubt he wouldn't do a great job. So we're glad he's here. And I'm going to steal a line from Coach Joe here. Elijah, it's your time. You got about 30 seconds. Talk to the people watching. Talk to the fans. What do you want to say to the Jackson Christian football community?
We have a great program. We have a great team going, and I really do appreciate all of the people coming out, all of the parents, the students, everyone picking each other up. It's a great atmosphere to play in, and I don't think I'd rather be anywhere else.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome.
A great place to be in it. We're enjoying having you there, and I'm serious. Coach Bullard may let you, and I'll let you come up there and holler at us at basketball. Just don't tell Coach Fleischman. We're going to give you his time. We are at Hub City Deli, and we are having a great time. Jackson Christian is blessed with fine young men like this young man, Elijah DeMoss. And guess what? We got another fine young man, and I can vouch for him. Eli Craig is coming up. We're going to take a time out and grab that brisket and devour it before we can come back. We'll see you at Hub City Deli in just a short time.
Hub City Deli is honored to sponsor Jackson Christian Athletics. Gourmet chef Peter Thomas invites you in for a totally new experience in craft sandwiches, wraps, and salads. The homemade hoagies are baked fresh. A big favorite is Pete's brisket hoagie with brisket, smoked Texas style. The Hub City burger is a Jackson favorite. The salads are always fresh and unique. Hub City Deli is open for breakfast as well. Located on Pleasant Plains Extended, just down the road from Jackson Christian.
We are back at Hub City Deli for the Jackson Christian Football Recap Show. And in just a moment, you're going to hear from a young man who is trying out for the position I call unlicensed chiropractor because he will rearrange your bones and stuff when he hits you. Now, Tacker Nash has given that job, and we need to get Eli's mask just a little closer to him there in his microphone. And, Coach, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Yeah, before we get started, I was getting some updates, Coach, and our elementary 5th and 6th grade team playing over at USJ tonight, and they're up 32-6 there.
Wow.
In the fourth quarter. And those guys work hard. Coach Lee Johnson, Nathan Nash. We got 4 or 5 guys on that staff. We just want to make sure we want to recognize them and their efforts, and they'll actually be on the show here in a couple of weeks.
Well, I was going to say now, Nathan's one of those outstanding alumni like Blake Taylor was, and we definitely want to hear. Last night, I know that, if you light up the scoreboard, you play to win. We won a lot of areas last night. We went against one of the biggest Division II teams as far as numbers of people, skilled athletes, and correct me if I'm wrong, but because I had to leave a little early, 28-14 was the final if you keep in score. But we put out a heck of an effort, and Christian Brothers showed us no slack in their effort, too. It was a true slobber knocker last night.
Absolutely, and before we get to this man right here, I just got another text that our volleyball team won, too, and so we want to congratulate those girls. They work hard, and they picked up a victory tonight. But, Coach, with us tonight, if you watch him, you can't help but love his effort, his intensity, his energy. Mr. Eli Craig beside us, and just talk a little bit about his game. 10 total tackles, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. So we're going to talk these next few minutes with linebacker Eli Craig.
Yeah, he also brought the water bottles out a couple of times. I'm teasing
so.
with Eli. Look at that smile there. There's an award-winning smile. But, Coach, it's on you first, and I'll jump in.
Eli, proud of your effort against St. George's. You got thrown into the fire this year, playing linebacker at a young age, and tell us how you've gotten to where you are, and who supported you, what you feel like you do well as a player.
People that definitely support me are my parents, and how I got there. Tacker Nash, I give him big credit for he took me under his wing, showed me what to do.
Absolutely, and you had a good person to look up to there, and even Chance King, watching him play as linebackers last year. Tell us about the fumble that you ripped away, came up with. Tell us about that play and how it transformed.
I just saw number 23. He was just standing there, and the ball wasn't held tight, and I just saw it. And so I thought I'd grab it, so I did.
So that's kind of how it went, right?
It did.
He had him stood up.
Go back and watch the game. It's archived on YouTube, and you just reached in. I thought you was reaching for that beef brisket sandwich and grabbing that. It was as smooth as silk, better than milk, the way he grabbed it.
That's right. And Coach Phillips is on the sideline and just screaming, "Take the ball!" And next thing you know, Eli's coming out with it. Eli, what's your favorite thing about playing linebacker?
Definitely just getting to hit people.
I like that.
And do my job, get it done.
And I'll tell you what, guys, and watching that collision with number 5 there in that game, and that's one of the nastiest collisions I've seen in live. And Eli comes and stuns that guy, and he was banged up a little bit. And
yeah, Gonzalez is a tough kid.
Yeah, absolutely. Got us fired up. And talk about defense forcing 3 turnovers. What do you attribute that to as a defense?
Just one of the best feelings whenever you stop the offense and you just get to go off the field knowing you've done something that could possibly win a game and just make the outcome any different.
That's right. So how you go from playing special teams a lot as a freshman to playing on every snap as a sophomore. What has gotten you there? I know we talked about preparation, but is it the weight room? Is it film study? Is it just growing from a freshman to a sophomore? What has that transition been like for you?
Well, the way I've gotten there is definitely from the team and coaches just pushing me. But I just really wanted to have a spot on this team at starting, and I tried my best to work for it, and I got it.
That's right.
Let's meet Eli up close and personal a little bit. We won't cover everything, but how many years at Jackson Christian?
Almost 10.
Favorite teacher or class or both?
Favorite teacher's definitely got to be Coach Phillips.
Okay, he's a good teacher. I know he's, 'cause last year a lot of people did. Yeah, any particular subject, or is it the one he's teaching?
Right now, chemistry.
Chemistry. Well, this man, he's out of my league. He's way ahead of me. Favorite memory at Jackson Christian School? Could be a sports memory.
Stripping that ball made a good dent.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah, that's a great one. What other sports do you play?
Just football. Tried basketball out before, but just wasn't my cup of tea.
A little too rough for basketball.
A little
The
bit.
only thing you got to remember, you don't dribble the oblong ball, but you can pick it up. You can steal it too. Coach, let's finish it up. I think we've got about a minute and a half.
Perfect. Eli, we kind of close out interviews this way and give you just a few seconds to talk to the people watching, to the fans, to students, whatever you'd like to say to the Jackson Christian football supporters.
Just want to say thank y'all for coming out, supporting us, especially whenever it's in a close game. Fourth quarter, y'all's energy impacts our energy.
Absolutely. Come and watch you try out for that unlicensed chiropractor position too, right? Eli's going to give us a great effort, and, hey, we can say go Eagles, can't we?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. There he is, another one of our fine young men who are learning to be good young men. Football doesn't just teach how to tackle somebody or how to block somebody. And we teach academics, we teach how to be a good human being, and we do it in a Christ-like manner. We're here at Hub City Deli, where I'm looking over there. I may go get me another piece of that chest pie, too. But anyway, we've got to take a time out here at Hub City Deli. We'll be back for the wrap-up of this show after this timeout.
Hub City Deli is honored to sponsor Jackson Christian Athletics. Gourmet chef Peter Thomas invites you in for a totally new experience in craft sandwiches, wraps, and salads. The homemade hoagies are baked fresh. A big favorite is Pete's Brisket Hoagie with brisket, smoked Texas style. The Hub City Burger is a Jackson favorite. The salads are always fresh and unique. Hub City Deli is open for breakfast as well. Located on Pleasant Plains Extended, just down the road from Jackson Christian.
And we are back at Hub City Deli, home of the great sandwiches. They call them craft sandwiches, the salads, the wraps. And now, my wife loves this, the half sandwich and soup or a side salad. She's going to get one of those two. Your wife had a great-looking salad a while ago, Coach Darby, and I can't eat lettuce because I'm allergic to it. But the salad was so decorated up nicely, I wanted to eat salad, which wouldn't have done so well. And your young son was here, who already, I believe he's got the makings of a football player already.
Absolutely. He's got the makings of a lineman. That's for sure. His appetite.
We need to, Coach Bullard, talk about, first of all, I'll let you two guys run with the football right now and talk about the two young men we had and anybody else that deserves some credit from last week's football game. Then we'll wrap up this and talk about Columbia Academy and what we need to look for.
Coach, you couldn't hear Elijah. But he did a tremendous job talking and complimenting his teammates and talking about our culture. Give us a couple things about Elijah that people need to know, football player, but also as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt in his athletic ability. He's a great athlete. He's very fluid with how he runs and how he does a lot of things. Elijah, when you get to him as a person and sit down and talk with him, he's an outstanding young man. Very respectful. First time I met him, being able to go up and talk to people, he's a great young man, and I'm super excited about him being a part of our culture and program.
So you got number 3 and you got number 1. What do they bring? How do they offset each other as running backs, and what kind of stress do they put on the defensive guy to prepare for?
Well, absolutely. I mean, they're a dynamic duo. As soon as Cam, gets tired, needs to come off, we feel like we have another big back potential with him coming in. And those two guys working together, splitting those reps in practice, staying healthy, man, sky's the limit for that duo.
Absolutely, and they're fun to watch. And I was talking to Elijah about the emotion that I felt after he scored that touchdown, and the emotion you could just feel. Sometimes as a coach, you take that in, but you don't have long to take it in. And what kind of did you feel for that kid as he broke off that run and was able to get one in the end zone?
Absolutely. And, challenging him a little bit, and then he stepped up and responded, especially in the second half. And with that big run, there was a lot of second effort, but also the fact that Austin Kelly had a block that sprung him 20 yards downfield for him to be able to go and score. But I think the tell of all that, and we don't have the highlights tonight, is all 11 players on that offensive unit met him in the end zone to celebrate. That talks about culture, where teammates care about one another, and they live out that family motto that stands for forget about me, I love you. It's not about me. It's about the love that you have for your teammate and your brotherhood, where they want to celebrate each other. And that's awesome. You get chill bumps, but we pointed that out on film on Monday where all 11 offensive guys were in the end zone celebrating together, and that means a lot.
Well, that 111th you're always talking about, Elijah took care of his 111th, but there were 10 blockers that took care of 11 men on the other team too.
Absolutely.
And sprung him and gave him a whole – he has somewhat of a jump step, a little different running style, but he can give you the leg, take it away. Cam has what I call the jump step. He can actually go into the hole, push off on that left leg, and jump sideways. But I've noticed he's not really jumping sideways. He's jumping to the side a little bit, but he's moving forward on what I call a jump step.
There's no doubt, and I believe Cam's gotten a step faster this offseason. We're going through track, and Coach Irv's program does a great job. But even on that run that he had a spin move through the box and then jump cut outside, just an outstanding run.
So let's move to defense. Eli Craig, he's a wild man, and you watch him play and makes a play. And
you gotta love that in a linebacker, though.
That's right. Tell us about Eli's transition from a special teams guy, do whatever was needed last year as a freshman, to this year as a starting inside backer for us.
You think about the two guys that we lost in the middle last year, Tacker Nash and Chance King. Tacker got a lot of the recognition and a lot of tackles, and rightfully so. Tacker's an outstanding linebacker. Chance took care of a lot of dirty work. So losing those two guys in the middle going into a year is going to be really tough. And counting on a sophomore to step up, I think that he was able to watch Tacker, learn from Tacker, talk to Tacker, and I think Tacker's helped him out a lot. But mimicking Tacker's game and coming in and kind of making it his own, he's done a great job so far this season.
Absolutely. I got to ask, Coach, your description of the steal. It's called a fumble, but Eli grabbed the football away as smooth as anybody I've seen steal one from somebody.
Absolutely. That's teach tape. That could be clinic tape, because we had two guys bottle him up, track near hip, stand the guy up, and you always talk about that second or third guy coming in and tackle the ball, rip out the ball. Yeah, man, he just went in there and got it, and that's all heart, second effort. And once again, you talk about owning your 111th. He did that right there. But also the celebration afterwards. All 11 were around him, but also there was guys coming off of our sideline excited, wanting to celebrate with him. So that it's a testament to culture.
So let's wrap up this week, or this past week. We want to bring this up. Our Twitter poll was live again, and Cam Boyd, with his performance, was the Jackson Christian Football Player of the Week, and that's brought to you by Coca-Cola this week. And Cam, Elijah, Eli, all three worthy nominees, but Cam was able to pull that out. And at one point, I think we had close to 60 votes with 8 hours left, and that just a testament to Cam, and we're proud of him. And moving forward into next week, give me some keys to victory for the Jackson Christian Eagles against Columbia Academy.
Well, let me interrupt and do this. Let's take our last time out, and when we come back, we'll lead off with Coach's keys to victory and some interesting things. Charlie Lansdale, I will say that, is no longer there. We alluded to a new head coach. But let's take that time out, a short one, from here at Hub City Deli on the Jackson Christian Sports Recap Show.
Hub City Deli is honored to sponsor Jackson Christian Athletics. Gourmet chef Peter Thomas invites you in for a totally new experience in craft sandwiches, wraps, and salads. The homemade hoagies are baked fresh. A big favorite is Pete's Brisket Hoagie with brisket, smoked Texas style. The Hub City Burger is a Jackson favorite. The salads are always fresh and unique. Hub City Deli is open for breakfast as well. Located on Pleasant Plains Extended, just down the road from Jackson Christian.
We are back at Hub City Deli, where they not only serve the best deli sandwiches in town, But, folks, they serve breakfast Monday through Friday. A lot of people forget about that. We want you to come down next week and be part of our crowd. And, Coach, before we talk about Columbia Academy, let's remind them volleyball team did win tonight. You don't have a score on that one, do you?
I do not. I just got a text from Miss Lane Phillips that they were able to pull out a victory, and I'm assuming that our elementary team held on to that lead. They were up big there in the fourth quarter.
And I see, isn't that two of our soccer players in the background
We
there?
had middle school soccer going on. We had I think softball was just practicing, but a lot of stuff going on in Jackson Christian that we're excited about. And don't forget Gibson Boykin on the female side up for Jackson Sun Player of the Week, so we can go vote for her as well. Her and Cam both up for their accomplishments this week. And we had a great turnout at our tailgate, our family tailgate. Walked out of the office and looked over, and there was a ton of folks out there. That's a tremendous thing to get our people together. Mr. Blake Beckham putting that on, and everybody showing up and having a good time. So we're going to do that again.
Well, I think so, because
September
I get
9th.
there early. You know how early I usually get there. We already had a good crowd tailgating then. Coach, I'm going to change the scenery a little bit before we go to Columbia Academy, which is very important. Thought we had a great – I didn't get to see all of it, but I got to see a lot of it. I thought we had a great JV game last night. And just some quick thoughts out of both of y'all on that.
Absolutely. We're really excited about that freshman, sophomore class and what they can bring to the table. Going up against a school like Christian Brothers, I think they have an enrollment of 841 boys in their school, and they brought down a small army to play our JV team, and we held our own, and we did a lot of good things. And those guys are all about heart and effort, and they did a great job executing what we wanted to do in the JV game.
Oh, we did, and I think that it helped us two ways. Number one, I'm going to give Christian Brothers credit. When they tackled, they gang tackled. Well, you know what? Our young men said we can do that too, and we're doing that. It carried over to practice today, and I know y'all did some gang tackling like that, but what I like is you guys as coaches emphasize you can gang tackle, but you must stay in your lanes and come to the football by covering your 111th.
That's right, absolutely, and it's a testament to what we teach defensively, but also the effort that they give. We want 11 hats at the football defensively every play. Meet at the ball.
Absolutely. Now, I wanted to give some credit out, and I'm going to do this. Wyatt Jones and Jackson Guthrie provided us, and gentlemen, I meant to bring it out and let y'all see, with two of the best spotting charts last week, and it had some great information on it. And Wyatt, you and Jackson, thank you very much. Now, let's focus on task, and I'm focusing because I lived in Columbia for a while. I know how they recruit up there, and yes, I use the R word. And there are athletes that come from all over. You think we've got kids coming from a few places, they got them coming from all over Middle Tennessee. 2-0. We're 2-0. What's the keys to victory? Coach already started. That was a good question too, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. It's their home opener, and so what we always tell our guys in those situations is no juice plays. We don't want those guys to have any explosive plays, in either special teams or big plays offensively. So limiting their big play potential. Also, we need to come out better offensively, execute a little better earlier in our opening series, those plays that we script out in practice and we rep every day. And then what you said defensively, we want to own our gaps. We don't want to have any coverage busts. Simple things. Doing our job, that's what we're preaching. Doing us. Anytime that we talk about film and we talk about us, we never really mention the other team. We want to be the best version of ourselves. We want to be the best Jackson Christian team out there. We're only focused on us, and when we're at our best, that's when we're going to be a really good team.
What I'm getting from that is, yes, we're playing against, or our opponent is Columbia Academy, but really and truly we're playing against our own potential, or to our own potential, and we can't worry. We can study it. We can learn to read the keys and do the things like that, but we must play Jackson Christian football.
Absolutely, 100%. That's what we tell them weekly, especially every Thursday.
Last year, looking back, we were able to execute and put up some points in that game, and they're going to come out hungry. They're going to come out wanting to get a little bit of revenge, and we don't look at that stuff. But obviously, as a coach, you kind of look back at that game and how it went, and we want to go over there with the business mindset and just do the things that we do that we coach them to do, that we see on film, and you heard from two great guys, two great football players tonight, and we're excited for another opportunity. And we, in our prayer pregame and in our anytime we can, we talk about the opportunity that we have to play football, and we never want to take that for granted because it can be taken away from you. And we want our guys to embrace every chance they get to play alongside their brothers. And I don't ever want to take for granted being able to sit right here next to him, and I go out with our staff and coach these guys. And it's a tremendous thing that I wake up Saturday morning already ready for Friday, and so we're excited for that opportunity.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Columbia Academy. I believe Monte Baldwin is the running back we've got to lock up on. We got to put a B right on his bonnet, plus we've got to watch. The one thing that won't move is your middle. You can swivel your hips, you can fake with your shoulder pads, you can wave your arms around like a wild man, do anything, but the belly button doesn't move, and we got to lock up and make sure we get him down. I understand their quarterback is not, even though they've got a young man, he played some last year, but their quarterbacks are always strong kids, and they can run and throw the football too. Not familiar with their wideouts, like you said earlier, and they usually play tough defense. And I heard from a sports writer I know up there, they are a little embarrassed because we scored so many points. Not because we ran it up, it's because they thought they were going to hold us to about 2 touchdowns last year.
Yes, sir. And like you said, they have a very talented football team. Their linebackers defensively, they read their keys and they fit their gaps extremely fast. And so it's going to be a good test for us this Friday.
Absolutely. And our kids, I know, are having a good week of practice. Do we have a middle school football game Thursday night?
No, sir. Our middle school is off this week, so they're getting some work in and trying to get everybody healthy and get ready for next week.
Well, that is good. Gentlemen, I feel like I'm leaving something out about football. Oh, I know one thing, and this is a little off football, but how to get there. I only know of 2 routes. You go down Interstate 40 till you get to the 148 exit. That's Highway 50. It's a state highway. It goes through part of Centerville. That way can be kind of curvy, and it's 2-lane, and you can get bogged down in traffic. The only other way I know is to go 412 into Columbia, and you can get bogged down there. That 2-lane stretch after you cross the Tennessee River going into Linden, Tennessee, can be a little dangerous and rough too. There's some curves on it. The other side of Linden, you go 2-lane till you get to Hohenwald, Tennessee. After you get through Hohenwald, and some of it is 4-lane, you got 4-lane until you get to the Murray County line between Lewis County and go back to 2-lane, and then there is a part of 412 that's 4-lane again into Columbia. I'm used to turning where Hampshire School is and go into Mount Pleasant. Do not go that way. That will take you an extra 10 or 15 minutes. It's going to take you closer to 2.5 hours if you drive safely.
There you go.
And any advice you got for the fans, things they need to pay attention to? We just want them to support us.
Absolutely. We always travel well, so we're excited about taking the show on the road to Columbia this Friday, and we look forward to a good contest.
Game time, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, yes, sir.
Pre-game show is on the Jackson Christian Facebook at 6:30. 6:30. Dave Wade will be alongside of me. Dave, in his own right, brings some excitement to the broadcast. Some of those touchdowns, I had to almost hold Dave down, and I get excited. My best call the other night was the touchdown of Cam's that was brought back. I had some other good calls, but that one was brought back. And but you know what? We recovered from that, and we did just fine. Final words from each of our coaches.
I just want to thank Hub City. We weren't able to be here last week. They were having some issues back in the kitchen, but we're back here tonight. A bunch of Jackson Christian folks came and enjoyed a good night with us, and just excited to showcase a couple of our guys. Thank you to Blake Taylor for coming on. In a couple of weeks, we'll have another alumni segment there, and we want to just make sure that we hold on to the history of this program and the people that came on before us, and we never want to take not bring those guys up and try to get them in front of people and talk about them. So we're thankful for him as well.
Absolutely. Coach Palmer?
Thankful for our guys, not only ones that come on our show, but each and every day the effort that they're giving in practice to represent this community and do it well. We're extremely excited and thankful for those guys.
We surely are, and I'm thankful that I can work with Gary and Worthy Road and these two fine gentlemen.
Great
and
job,
some
Mr.
of the
Gary.
great young men that we bring in here. Folks, if you want academics, you want athletics, you want character built, bring your young people to Jackson Christian. You support everything they do. We will see you next week, and we'll remind you that this show is copyrighted, and any rebroadcast, retransmission, or further use of this contest without the express written consent of Worthy Road Studios is prohibited. For our great coaches, the administration, and everybody at Jackson Christian School, thanks for your time this time. Till next time, good day, all.